All right, everyone, grab a seat, get cozy. I have a conspiracy theory about this movie, so buckle up. Today we are recapping the 2018 Hallmark movie Love on Safari with the queen of Hallmark, Lacey Chabert. Now, here's where my conspiracy is. Lacey Chabert is very good at what she does, and that's why she's in literally like hundreds of Hallmark movies. But in this film, honest to God, I felt like she hated both of the love interests. And maybe it's just me, but let me know in the comments what you think, because the chemistry in this honestly feels angry. So get cozy. Let me scoot over this. There's just a lot to unpack in this movie. So we start out Love on Safari with one of my favorite Hallmark tropes, and that is royalty-free music and like stock footage of a big city. As with all my Hallmark recaps, I never remember what the girl's name is, so we just call her our girl. She's our Hallmark girly that we're rooting for, and we meet her at this like big city office. And within the first 10 seconds of the movie, she is talking to a non-white person, which, if you've seen Hallmark before, is kind of surprising. One of my other conspiracy theories is that Hallmark has a yearly quota of the amount of actors they have to put into Hallmark movies that are non-white, right? Like, they have to put them in to avoid getting sued, and I feel like they just shoved them all into this movie. We learn that our girl is due to go on holiday to Scottsdale. How exciting. She talks about how she's gonna go golfing and she's gonna go to the spa, and it's just gonna be a very chill holiday because that's the kind of girly she is. She's a chill girly. She's not like other girls. At this point, we don't really know exactly what she does, but she works on a computer and it's supposed to be something creative. But we do meet her accountant boyfriend, Brad. Bland Brad. Through some very painful exposition, we learn that our girl and Brad are very well suited because they are both bland. They're risk adverse, they just want to hang out, no dramas. And Hallmark really tries to push this concept. I wonder why. Anyway, he gives her her mail at work, like personal mail at work. Is this normal? Like, do you get your mail at work? I've never seen this before.
I brought your mail.
Oh, thanks.
Wow. This one's from South Africa.
Yeah, it's Ukatula. It's the wildlife reserve my great uncle Irving owns. I went there as a kid. Oh, that's where I fell in love with elephants.
Basically, her uncle died and he owns some sort of like wildlife reserve in South Africa, and he's gifted her something. And so in order to claim said thing from his estate, she has to go to South Africa while they read the will. And we get more exposition that she used to go to this wildlife reserve a lot when she was a kid, but she hasn't been since she was like 15. But he was like a much loved uncle who I guess she just stopped seeing. It's not really explained why she stopped going. She just hasn't seen him since she was 15, and now he's dead. Two things right off the bat with this Hallmark, and maybe it stands out for you. Number one, this is the only Hallmark I've ever watched where it is set in Africa. It's not like a cutaway scene. The whole thing really is set in Africa, other than this very small intro bit. And number two, this feels like the highest budget I've seen on a Hallmark. We are actually in Africa and we actually go on safari, which I've never seen before. So I don't know if somebody on the Hallmark team knows somebody in South Africa and they got like a little bit of a mate's deal, a friend deal, or maybe it's just really cheap to shoot there. I don't know. But we get Africa and we get a budget, which is wild. We then meet our love interest, Tom, at the wildlife reserve with this wonderful belt cell phone holder combo. Love it. We learn that Tom has been trying to repair this fence, but the whole fence needs to be replaced. But we learn that they can't do anything major until the estate is settled. And Tom is annoyed. He's basically annoyed throughout this entire movie. So I hope that doesn't bother you, because it bothered me. I literally hate this man. Anyway, we cut back to our girl working in the office at night in the literal dark. Honey, turn the lights on. But it's here we learn that she is a coder, a proper internet girly. Love it. And she does decide that she will go to South Africa for the reading of this will. Like that wasn't already decided, but spoiler alert, she decides she's gonna go to South Africa. And we get this shot of her and Brad. The size difference on them, just absolutely wild. Also, hate the sweater over the shoulders. That is a red flag. Anyway, that is why we kept getting all that exposition at the beginning of the movie that she's bland, she's risk adverse, she doesn't like adventure, right? Because now she's going on safari in South Africa. That's good writing. I'm just kidding, it's really not. Now, because Brad is the original boyfriend, we know that he is going to be dumped for the new love interest, right? That's just what happens in the Hallmark Cinematic Universe. But usually the girly is in love with the original boyfriend, right? Like there's some level of chemistry there, right? That's typically the vibe. We know that he's gonna get dumped and we know that he's not right for her, but they're usually in love to some extent. Now watch this goodbye scene and tell me what you think.
I owe it to Uncle Herb to be there.
Stay safe.
You know me, Brad. I keep my feet firmly planted on the ground.
Where's the goodbye kiss? She might get dysentery and die out there, Brad. Back in Africa, the two main characters are Tom, the love interest, and his girlfriend. We're gonna call the girl buddy so it doesn't get confusing. Anyway, they're waiting for our girl to arrive. They don't know who she is, but they've been sent there basically to collect her.
Wait, you don't think she's the new owner, do you?
No.
Well, who else would he leave it to? I didn't think he had any family.
Well, that's my point. Irv's never mentioned her, and she's never even visited.
Well, that's true, but if she's coming in for the reading of the will...
Irving would never leave this place to somebody who didn't love it as much as he did. Somebody who belonged here.
Okay, mate, calm down. Our girl finally lands and she's very happy to be on the ground. She was quite anxious in that plane. And honestly, I think that's a reasonable fear. Like, that is a small plane. I don't know if you've ever been on a plane that size before. It's scary, right? It's very reasonable. It's a reasonable fear. And Tom makes a bad joke and basically just looks like an angry man.
Is there really no other way to get here?
Well, we used to offer elephant rides from Chabert, see, but, you know, it wasn't very cost effective.
Oh, really?
No. We would never exploit the animals in such a way.
He was joking. He's just not very funny.
Oh.
Who doesn't love an enemies to lover plot? Except I actually hate this man. Back at the lodge, we get this delightful interaction between our girl and miserable Tom.
Here, take those.
Oh, no. It's okay, I got it. Why don't you go on inside? Wouldn't want you to get overheated.
I'll be fine. Billy, I can take my own luggage.
I'm sure you can. But we like to check for spiders before we bring the bags in.
Oh, spiders?
Yeah, big ones. Oh, they're all over the path, too, so.
Our girl gets back to her room and it is beautiful, which kind of made me think like maybe this is a real sanctuary that's like trying to get publicity for like letting Hallmark shoot there and whatever. But all I could see was that smoky eye. Our girl Lacey loves a smoky eye. Even in Africa. She goes off to this like evening dinner party situation and we get this wonderful dialogue about weight gain.
Everything was so good. I don't think I'll be hungry again for a week.
Yeah. Wait till you see the Savannah breakfast tomorrow morning. Guarantee it'll spark your appetite.
Well, hopefully Uncle Herb left me a wheelbarrow, so you guys will have something to haul me off in after I gain 100 pounds.
We can't even escape diet culture in South fucking Africa. It's like being on holiday with my mom again. Just kidding, love you, Mom. Anyway, we get a shot of Tom and his girl buddy walking away like arm in arm, and it's like the insinuation that they're dating. More on that later. The next day we drive out to this beautifully laid out breakfast. They're gonna read the will, and our girl Lacey has this crazy smoky eye. Lacey is the queen of the smoky eye, even in Africa, even for breakfast. Find me a movie where Lacey doesn't have her signature smoky eye. Oh wait, I kind of feel like she writes it into the contract that her character has to have a smoky eye. Mild surprise, our girl is left the entire wildlife reserve in the will.
I really should have gone to Scottsdale.
Honestly, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Lacey is the queen of Hallmark. I feel like she really brings some level of self-awareness to Hallmark movies. You know, they are silly, they are cliched, and I feel like she really, I don't know, brings that out in a very wholesome kind of funny self-awareness way. And I don't know if that's her like writing stuff into the script or because she's like the executive at Hallmark. Like, she's a top person at Hallmark. So I feel like she's adding that somewhere, but you don't really see this level of self-awareness in other Hallmarks. Does that make sense? She starts panicking about owning the sanctuary, and all I could think of was, when was the last time you saw trumpet sleeves? The lawyer at this like breakfast reading of the will thing says that if she wants to sell the sanctuary, they already have an offer from this guy named Artie. So it's like Artie and his company. And there's general outrage from the employees because apparently Artie is terrible and his company is terrible, and they turn everything into like these horrible tourist traps. So it's here where we get like the evil corporation. It's Artie and his company. But Artie is the only one offering to buy the sanctuary because he's like the only one that has the money to do so. So here are our stakes for the film. Our girl owns the sanctuary, but she doesn't know what to do with it. She's freaking out. She doesn't have the money to fund a sanctuary. Tom is angry because she doesn't belong there, but he also doesn't want her to sell it to Artie, who's the evil corporation guy. So Tom schemes with his girl buddy that he's going to try and make our girl fall in love with the sanctuary so she won't want to get rid of it.
I make her fall in love. Yeah, with the reserve. Call it a charm offensive.
Oh. Wouldn't that require you to be charming?
Honestly, Tom is grating. I know he's supposed to be kind of like the enemy at the beginning of the film, enemies to lovers, right? He is grating throughout. I honestly hate this man. I would much rather have a movie with the girl buddy. She is wonderful in this film. She's very delightful. She's very charismatic, very just likable, and I love her, and I would much rather have a movie with her and our girl. But unfortunately, gays do not exist in the Hallmark cinematic universe. So we're stuck with Tom. Or God forbid, Brad. Our girl Skypes with Brad to explain what happened, that she's got the sanctuary, she doesn't know what to do. She's got this offer from Artie, but everybody seems to hate Artie and she's just really overwhelmed. So Brad is going to look over the contract. I guess as an accountant, he can do those types of things. And he's just gonna review the contract and see what it's like. And they end the call without saying a proper goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Honestly, I know he's the first boyfriend and she's gonna break up with him and whatever. The chemistry here feels angry. And I trust Lacey, so I gotta believe that both of these men were just horrible to work with. In an effort to get our girl to fall in love with the place, the girl buddy creates this like romantic plan.
Kira, it's still morning. Good morning.
So sorry I slept so late. Man, I'm so jet lagged.
Oh, that's okay. It happens to the best of us. Right, Tom? How's your chance to be charming?
Yeah, jet lag. It's the worst.
Yeah.
That was great. So, Kira, what's on the agenda for today?
Well, the lawyers want me to meet with Artie Warrington this afternoon. I was just hoping there's some way to get there that doesn't involve a plane.
Yeah, we can arrange for transportation for you. It should take you about an hour to get in.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, are you hungry?
To be honest with you, I am famished.
Okay, perfect. Because Tom actually has a really nice lunch planned for you two.
You do?
Dude.
Yeah. He was gonna run to the kitchen and grab some supplies and take you to the most scenic part of the reserve, Rock Lodge.
Rock Lodge. Seriously, you don't want to miss it. It is beautiful.
That sounds great. Okay, I'll just grab a hat.
Cool. See you back here in like 10?
Perfect.
Okay.
Awesome. What was that?
Hey. Just remember to be charming.
I don't need to say it, but I'll say it again. She is so much more likable than this man. Like, Tom might go down in like my list, and we should do we should do a video on this, like my least favorite love interests in the Hallmark cinematic universe, because Tom is up there. Tom and our girl get to the romantic lunch spot, and it is romantic. And there is lunch. There's like this little pool, there's this gorgeous view. It's very, very nice. And it's here where Tom basically like dumps on the girl, like, you can't sell the place to Artie. Artie's terrible, you can't sell it. Let us like the employees run the reserve. We can do it without you and without Artie. And we get this little exposition from our girl that she's a web designer. How fun. And she goes on this rant of like, I don't know what to do. There's so much that needs to be done with this place. They need a new website. They need a new marketing campaign. They need a new fence. You know, like I can't afford to pay someone to do all that. Even though we just learned that she's a web designer and she could do the website. And we learn shortly that she works with marketing campaigns. Like it's ridiculous.
I'm a web designer. I make marketing websites for big corporations, and it's just not very exciting. It needs a new marketing campaign. The website needs a total overhaul. There's everything that needs to be fixed you've been talking about, and I don't have the money for that.
Literally roll my eyes so hard they get stuck in the back of my head. But that is the conflict. They need all this stuff to be done, even though we already know she can do most of it. And Tom was literally fixing the fence at the beginning of the movie, so there's no, do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. We simply need to move on. Tom has this line about how everyone needs a little risk in their life, and she counters by saying everybody needs stability. Honestly, I am ready for death. Kill me now. She's annoyed by this whole conversation and she wants to skip lunch and just go back to the lodge. What a waste of gas and omissions. Our girl's got a big carbon footprint. You know what I mean? But when they get back to the car won't start, of course, and the radio doesn't work at that lunch spot for whatever reason.
So, what should we do in the meantime?
Sex! Just kidding. You can't have sex in the cinematic universe before marriage. So they just go back to the lookout point and chat to kill time. But it's here that she lets slip that not only is she a web designer, but she does marketing campaigns for big corporations. So again, I repeat, the thing like, oh, the reserve really needs, she could do, and we already know that she could do it because they've told it to us, whatever. But they do chat and it is largely pointless. Started to glaze over a little bit, but they're warming up to each other, right? Like they talk about each other's childhoods and whatever. And finally the girl buddy shows up to take them home because they're missing. She knows that they're at this lookout point. So she comes to get them and they all watch the sunset together. The next day they drive our girl to meet Artie, the guy who's put in the offer to buy the place, right? The evil guy, evil Artie. And our girl delivers kind of an awkward line.
Listen, thank you for driving me all the way into Johannesburg.
Not thanks for the ride or thanks so much for driving me, right? Like that feels very normal, like thanks for the ride, thanks for driving me. No, they make a real point to say Johannesburg. More on that later. But I'll tell you what now, it's good writing. Evil Artie seems to live in a literal mansion and they have this like little cafe patio in a pool. Like what the fuck? Is this what rich people do now? They just add pools to parts of their house. The meeting goes well and he basically says like, I don't want to change anything about the sanctuary. I want to keep it special as it is. Cheers to that. Do you guys remember plastic straws? That feels like a million years ago. After the meeting, Tom takes her to this roadside market and this whole scene made me feel weird. It kind of felt like exploitative. That's a hard word to say. Exploitative. They listened to these kids singing outside of school and it just, I don't know, I felt awkward. And it is an extended scene of them smiling at these kids singing. The important bit of exposition in this scene is that Tom mentions this, I couldn't believe it. Tom mentions that a lot of the local villages and like tribes would historically own part of the local reserves. And the government helps that through like grants and stuff. He even says that there's enormous financial benefit from the government when the local tribes own part of the reserves, okay? This is not mentioned again until the final 6 minutes of the movie. Moving along, we get another Skype call with Brad. He is really antsy for our girl to sell to Artie. He wants her to just sell it and come back home. And she's now starting to be a little bit confused. Like she really loves the place. She has a lot of childhood memories there and everybody's so nice. And even though Artie, like the meeting went really well, I thought, he seemed like a reasonable person, a reasonable company, she's really hesitant to sell to Artie. And Brad is annoyed. She also mentioned that she started like working on the reserve's website, and Brad's like, I thought you weren't gonna work on this trip. And it's just like a weird call. And finally they end the Skype call without saying goodbye again.
Oh, sorry, coming! I gotta go, because we're about to go see elephants. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
No I love yous. Tom takes her down to the river to see the elephants, and honestly, I love elephants. The elephants made this movie watchable for about 5 seconds. But while Tom gives this passionate speech about preserving the elephants and how important the reserve is to care for these elephants, our girl starts filming him like on the sly. But it's very obvious. Like, honey, who are you fooling? A group of them decide to go out to see the lions, and we do get lion footage. You don't see this in a small town Christmas Hallmark movie, I'll tell you that much. Most of the scenes here are pointless, but we do get Tom talking about how like all of these animals are going extinct and how important the sanctuary is and blah, blah, blah. Basically being one giant buzzkill. Back at the lodge, the two girlies are chatting, and the girl buddy lets slip that Tom actually has a job offer from some company in New York. So if our girl sells to Artie, Tom would leave and go to New York, but the girl buddy is gonna stay no matter what. And so our girl is a little bit confused because she's like, wouldn't you go with him? And the girlie's like, oh no. We're step siblings. Gonna leave that joke there. It's evening and our girl is working on the sanctuary's new website, and Tom is astonished. Like he's never seen WordPress before. And she basically says that she could run the website from home in the big city while Artie runs the reserve. We get a bunch of pointless conversations that don't really move the plot in any one direction, but the whole purpose is to get our girl to fall in love with the sanctuary. And this is where the movie really suffers. They really needed a subplot. We needed like some other story to be parallel to the will she sell, will she won't sell, because most of this film is padding. Surprise! They really needed something else happening. But unfortunately we don't get that. So we get a lot of these pointless conversations, all trying to get to that 1 hour and 30-minute mark. It's the next day and our girl mentions that it's her birthday coming up. And the girl buddy is like super excited. She's like, oh my God, I want to throw you a party. And honestly, I just love this girl. She is a proper girl's girl. Do you know what I mean? Like somebody get this woman her own movie. Tom pops in to take them out to see the elephants because there's a new baby elephant. Okay, great. I love that. So they're looking at the elephants and our girl just like hugs him. There's nothing more awkward than trying to hug someone while sitting in a car. But that's the whole point of the scene, is so she can hug him to progress their relationship, right? When I say they are padding out this movie, they are well and truly padding out this movie. Back at the lodge, our girlie is painfully dressed. Now, she knew this place. She's been here before. She's been here loads of times. She knew what it's like, and we get this scene of her walking in these giant wedges on this fucked up path, and surprise, Brad is there. We get our love triangle in person. How fun. He's really excited about helping her with the sale of the sanctuary to Artie, and he can't stop complaining about the heat. Our girl wants Brad to love the place as much as she does, so they take him out on this like walk around to see the zebras and whatever, and he just complains the entire time. It's too hot, it's too long, it's unsafe. Just real wet blanket vibes. They finally get to the end of this hike and it's this gorgeous view, but Brad is too busy inputting his steps into his smartwatch. And the dialogue here is so painful. It's like a child wrote this and they need you to know that Brad is the wrong boyfriend.
Brad. Brad. Look at this. I mean, can you imagine waking up to this view every day?
We walked all the way from there. Yeah, that's quite a hike. It's beautiful, but you know, so Chicago on a summer morning.
Brad. Oh, look, there's giraffe.
Yeah, we've seen them at the zoo.
Just painful. Back at the lodge, Brad complains some more. Love that. Love listening to a grown man complain about stuff. And he just really wants our girl to sign the sale already, but he says he's gonna look over the contract one more time. I don't know why, but okay. How does this help? Who's to say? Also, how long has she been away from work? Like, does she still have a job? Last I checked, companies don't normally give basic web designers compassionate leave to go abroad to a reading of a will and stay to relaunch a wildlife reserve. But what do I know? We get the scene where the girl buddy is encouraging Tom to talk to our girl because she knows that he has a crush on her. This girl is the only redeeming factor in this movie. Honestly, I love Lacey, but this movie made me angry. Anyway, our girl and Tom have this conversation about like settling down and do you want kids and whatever. And Tom is like trying to do this like smoldering eye thing.
I mean, I'm not exactly the white picket fence kind of guy, but...
Yeah. Don't exactly hold back elephants.
No.
There's no marriage, kids, happily ever after.
Yeah.
And of course I want that. I just need it with someone who loves this place as much as I do.
Well, okay then. Brad sees them laughing together and he gets annoyed. More annoyed than he's already been this entire movie. And he asks someone for directions to Johannesburg. Remember that weird line about Johannesburg earlier? This is why it was included. So we know that Brad is on his way to see Artie. That's good writing. And also, Johannesburg is a massive place. Imagine just being like, yeah, I need directions to London. Okay, where in London? It doesn't matter. That is literally not the biggest issue with this movie. So Brad meets with Artie at his evil mansion lair place, and he portrays himself as our girl's financial advisor, which, even if that was true, like, your financial advisor doesn't sign deals on your behalf. Like, this makes no sense to me. He's not a lawyer. He's not even pretending to be a lawyer. He's pretending to be an advisor. Brad says that they're happy to move forward with the sale of the sanctuary to Artie's company, and they shake on it. Like that's legally binding. Whatever. This is what a child would think a business deal looks like. And again, I honestly do think children wrote this movie. It's the next day and it's her birthday, and I love her dress. For real, so cute. I'm very jealous of the strapless bra girlies, but alas, I am not one of you. Anyway, our girl is talking with the older black lady and she's like, I want to sell the reserve to you and all the employees, but they don't have enough money. So our girl's like, okay, I'll give it to you. And the woman doesn't even want it. They're basically talking about how like it's too expensive, even if she gives it to the employees, which the employees don't want. They don't want to sell it to Artie, but they also don't want it themselves. Make it make sense.
I'll sell it to you for $1. I'll give it to you.
That is remarkably generous. But running a reserve is expensive.
That's why I couldn't do it myself. It's why we just need someone with deep pockets. Someone like Artie Warrington.
This whole movie has been about how Artie is evil. And then they're like, oh, what about someone with deep pockets like Artie? What? She meets with Brad and tells him that she needs to run off to deal with something, but she'll be back later and she's really excited about his birthday surprise. And he is annoyed, which is really the only emotion that this man can feel. And she gives him the weakest goodbye kiss I've ever seen. I genuinely believe Lacey hated this man.
I'll hurry.
She finds Tom and they drive back to Johannesburg to meet with Artie. Her carbon footprint grows ever bigger. Her proposal to Artie is that Artie and his company becomes an investor with her and the employees, and they'll put his logos like on everything. That's it. That is their entire proposal, that they drove all the way to Johannesburg to deliver. Literally could have been an email. Naturally, he says, no, you're an idiot. And he gives them 2 days to sign his original contract or he's gonna walk away. And basically, like, nobody else has submitted any sort of proposal to buy the reserve because it's way too expensive, not only just to buy it, but also to run it. And she says, fine, I'll do it. But there needs to be certain protections about the animals and the employees and that kind of stuff. And Artie's like, yeah, that's fine. I already agreed to that with your financial advisor, and we agreed that it wouldn't need to be in the contract. Dun, 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 mild surprise. Also, crazy one dimple on this man. So they find out that Brad was pretending to be her financial advisor and went behind her back to meet with Artie, and she's pissed. So she runs off to go find Brad. And she finds him and he's like, happy birthday. And she finds out like what part of his birthday surprise was for her is making all of the employees sing and dance at her. And he's definitely not paying them for this. Anyway, she doesn't confront him about lying. She's just immediately happy, like nothing ever happened. Tom gives her a birthday present and it's basically a bunch of like sentimental stuff with like callbacks to her uncle and her time at the sanctuary as a kid, and it's very like sweet and whatever. And then they make her give a speech. And the whole thing is just very uncomfortable. The employees just are stuck standing there watching. Back to Brad, and his like real surprise is a ring. And he proposes, but he doesn't get down on one knee and he doesn't open the box all nice. He just like gives her the box and forces her to open it. Love that. Anyway, she walks off. Literally the smartest decision this woman has made this entire movie. He chases after her and she like rips into him like, you went behind my back and you don't respect me or my decisions, and we'll talk about this in the morning. We're made to assume that they don't share a room, because imagine what that evening would have been like. I don't think you can share a hotel room in the Hallmark Cinematic Universe when you're not married. Then we get another long, dragged out scene with the girl buddy.
I thought I could get her to fall in love with this place. I think I did. But what I wasn't expecting was
To fall in love with her.
Oh my God. Then we get another scene with the older black lady, and again, the plot is not moved forward. Nothing happens. I am literally screaming at my TV at this point. In her giant wedges and her jeans, our girl goes back out to that lookout point and she smiles at the landscape. And we know it is a really long walk because that is the hike that they took Brad on, and he complained the whole time that it was too long. So her in her wedges and her jeans means that she got someone to drive her out to that lookout point so she could stand there for 5 seconds looking at the landscape. She's just a nature girly. Hashtag sustainable. Back at the lodge, she meets up with Brad and basically dumps him, says that she doesn't want that white picket fence with him anymore. She wants adventure. And he walks off with his knockoff Fitbit. Thank God. We cut to our girl working hard like through the night and into the morning, and we get a shot of her phone that shows that there's 0 reservations. Insert sad music.
I redid the website. I tried to get it to go viral, but
She worked all night to try and go viral? Honey, how do you think that works? We finally have 12 minutes left in this abomination, and we get our final miscommunication when the girl buddy comes in and she gives Tom's resignation. So he's resigning and he's a coward, so he can't even hand it in himself. He gets his stepsister to do it. Our girl decides that she's going to sign the sale with Artie at noon, and then the next day she's flying home. And there's a reason that they've done it this way, because the girl buddy encourages our girl to go speak with Tom and say goodbye. So if he handed in his resume, like, we wouldn't be able to drag it out a little bit longer. Do you know what I mean? We see Tom packing up and his first question is about Brad. Like, okay, we get it.
yeah, I stayed up all night just really trying to find a way to make it work here, and I guess I just don't really have a reason to stay. Do I?
These people are literally 37 years old. Like, let's start acting like it. Do you know what I mean? And what is more crazy, and maybe it's just me, but you let me know, Tom has resigned, okay? He's resigned his job. He's booked a flight to New York. He's packing up his stuff. and he mentions that he hasn't actually accepted the New York job. But he's quit his job, he's packing up, he's flying to New York first? Like, that seems insane to me. Our girl needs to go back to Johannesburg once again to sign the sale to Artie, and Tom's gonna drive her. But then all of a sudden, the website that she's been working on starts like getting reservations. It's like starting to go viral. So she says to Tom, and I was screaming at this point, she says to Tom,
When we were in the village and went to the school, you talked about village partnerships. How does that work?
Well, when a village is partnered with the reserve, there are enormous financial benefits for both parties.
So is there any reason we couldn't do that with Ukatula?
remember that thing that they talked about an hour ago that could have solved all of their issues? He says the tribe wouldn't be able to afford 50% of the sanctuary, but she's going to give them 50%. The financials here are not explained, and that is on purpose. The children writing this film don't know how that works, and that's fine. I don't blame them. They're children. So rather than taking her to Johannesburg, Tom takes our girl to the local village, and we get this scene. I'm so sorry. We get this scene with our girl and like the tribal leader meeting, and they shake hands.
Nkosi, this is Kira.
Me is Lucas.
What? Like, what is going on for real? We need to pad out the running time, so we get some more stock footage of Africa. We get elephants and just like general animals and the landscape and the like roadside market, and then these monkey nips just totally took me out. And then suddenly, surprise, the problem is solved.
I can't believe we got this done so quickly.
Yeah, we did it. Together.
So they're gonna use the government funding to the village to help run the reserve. So they're basically like using the village and the government to keep the reserve afloat. Love it. To finish us off, we get this little singing and dancing scene because the children writing this movie, that's all they know about Africans is like they sing and dance. And that's what we get. But of course we have to get an ending shot with Tom and our girl, and we do get that. And they shake hands as partners because they're like partners in the reserve now. And they not hold hands, they hold like the handshake for an extended amount of time. Like really uncomfortable. Just, they're not holding hands, they're not holding each other. They're holding like the shaked hands thing. Just weird. And finally, we get a kiss and what the children writing this movie think African music sounds like. It's not racist, but this white woman did just save this African reserve, so maybe they should be thanking her. Oh, sorry, that was too much. Who doesn't love a little white savior plot? Do you know what I mean? As with all my Hallmark recaps, I have 3 categories. So chemistry, plot, and overall enjoyment. So for chemistry, I am giving this a 1 out of 10. I honestly felt like Lacey as a person really hated both of these men. I don't know what happened. Maybe I'm just reading into things, but the chemistry in this was shocking. Lacey is really good at what she does. That's why she's in so many Hallmarks. She's really good at the flirting and the chemistry, but she seems like she hated these people. For plot, I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5. Being in South Africa and the safari stuff, like that was fun. You don't really see that in other Hallmarks. I've not seen it in any other Hallmarks, but it was so slow. Like we needed a subplot or maybe multiple subplots. Like there was not enough going on to justify an hour and a half. For enjoyment, I'm giving this a 2 out of 5. This was boring. It seems like Lacey really hated this, and honestly, I did too. No amount of surprise monkey nips could save this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have a Hallmark that you'd like me to recap, please let me know. Leave a comment down below. If you want to watch something else, how about this one? The worst Christmas Hallmark movie I have ever seen, and that is no exaggeration. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye!